What's going on, YouTube, and welcome on in. In this video, I want to talk with you guys about my top 3 most wanted features. I can make a list of 10, but I want to give you guys just my top 3, and then I want to hear from you guys as well. What kind of features do you want the most to be seen in Epic 7, especially this year, or at least sooner than later? And when you guys answer me, please keep in mind that I would like to hear things that are more realistic in terms of what Smilegate would actually give us. I'm sure we could all come up with a million things that we would love to see. Right? More gold, more sky stones, more bookmarks, whatever that might be. But really, realistically, what do you think would enhance both just the quality of life for players, the gameplay experience, and most importantly, what do you think Smilegate would actually be willing to meet us halfway and add? And I think my 3 are potentially, I could see them actually adding that into the game. But regardless, we'll get into that in just a sec. This all stemmed real fast. I want to share with this survey with you guys from my good friend Duke Josh. He just finished his 2022 community-driven survey result. Some of y'all may have answered this. Next time this comes around, I'll make a video on it, but he covers all the metrics and things like that on, people answering RTA, balance, and then of course like skins, what we want to see in terms of like E7 anime, content like that. Just all different questions we can ever think of. I think he had almost 2,000, 3,000, 4,000 results. So it was very, very cool. Big shout out to Duke Josh for doing these kind of community-driven surveys. But that's how this all started, and that's why I want to talk with you guys about what kind of features we want to see coming up. So stay tuned. Make sure y'all answer. And yeah, let's go ahead and I'll start sharing my most 3 wanted features for Epic 7. Alrighty, y'all, let's start with number 3, and this is potentially my most spiciest, most controversial wanted feature of the game, and that is more free unequip. Now, why is that a little bit controversial? Because at the start of the game, I used to think this way as well, and I know still currently now, just from asking around, usually on my Twitch streams, that some players still don't want more free unequip. Now, you might be thinking, that's crazy, Carl. Who wouldn't want to save more gold, try out more units, be able to swap gear around here and there? Well, the main thing I think that players want that for are the Guild War players. Monday, Wednesday, Friday during the week is Guild Wars, as we all know. And if free unequip was a thing, some players consider that to be a, how should I say this, maybe reduce the integrity or the competitiveness of Guild Wars because you could just freely swap all your gear at any time for every given scenario, both offense and defense. Not only that, you'll be pressured because, your opponents are going to be swapping all their gear here and there. You can just make sure you set up your units to be the best stat line that you have possible for the exact scenario, light baiting, dark baiting, whatever it might be, having the best damage gear. You just swap that around depending on who dies, who's alive, which damage dealer is the best for this attack versus defense team, etc. And that puts just a lot of pressure, more, a lot of movement of gear around all the time. And like I said, maybe reduces the competitiveness or integrity of Guild Wars. Now, I think personally, with Guild Wars already being a little bit stagnant, we're so far into the game already, 3.5 years, 3.5 years into the game. Guild Wars has kind of taken a back seat, especially to other PvP modes like Real-Time Arena. I really don't see a problem overall on having free unequip with Guild Wars, but if that's an issue, let's go ahead and start with free unequip just on weekends. We already have free unequip every single last weekend of the month, and of course on the balance patches as well. I could see us getting free unequip every single weekend if the community as a whole wanted it. So here's my question to you guys. How do you feel about free unequip? Would you guys be okay at least, or starting off with free unequip every single weekend? So every Saturday, Sunday, no matter which weekend of the month it is, we get that for free every single weekend. And then potentially just overall as a whole, how do y'all feel about free unequip or just unequip costs right now in the game? How many y'all want it? How many y'all just want to start on free unequip on weekends? How many want free unequip always? Other games have done it successfully. I'm on the side of just starting off with it on the weekends. That way we kind of, alleviate or, meet the Guild War players halfway, those that don't want free unequip always. And then of course, I do think also that it's the best way to get Smilegate to sort of meet us halfway as well. Like I said at the start of the video, we want to make sure these requests or these features are something that we could actually see Smilegate implementing and doesn't cut into their profits or too difficult on the back end, technical or whatever difficulty wise to implement, whatever that might be. I do think Smilegate could definitely allow for a free unequip every single weekend if the community as a whole requested it. As you saw in the survey, they're very numbers driven, very results oriented. So if we showed them enough players wanted it, I could definitely see us getting free unequip at least on every single weekend. We'll start with that, and then we'll talk about free unequip as a whole later. Now, like I said, guys, make sure y'all let me know how you feel about that one, and if you agree that it's a feature you may want as well. I think it would just be super, super good. Every single weekend we could try out new heroes, newer players, could alleviate some gold costs. They could rearrange stuff on their new units they build when they try other units. And you know, when you're shop refreshing, when you're crafting, gold costs are already very tough for the newer players. Gold has gotten much better, you know, at this day and age of the game. But for some players still, especially free-to-plays, gold cost is still a huge issue. So anything to help alleviate that and also add more fun, I think, more creativity, more, you know, theory crafting and new unit testing, I think that would be a great change to allow free and equips on the weekends. And I actually could see this happening, even Smilegate allowing this to happen, at least free and equip, you know, just on the weekends to start. Okay, let's go ahead and end that number 3, and at least let's lead into my second most wanted feature. All right, guys, let's go ahead and lead into my number 2 most wanted feature. And hopefully, I think this one's way less controversial. Hopefully a lot of y'all agree with me on this one. And number 2 for me is shop refreshing. Now, guys, shop refreshing in general is just a feature that most of y'all should be using regardless if you're a whale, if you're free to play, as it'll get you, it's one of the few ways to get Mystic bookmarks outside of Guild Wars, and it's a way more efficient way of getting Covenant bookmarks as long as you have the gold to supplement, you know, the purchases. Now, there's other things like equipment here and there. Speaking of bookmarks, we just got one. But, you know, unless it's a red epic piece of gear with perfect stats, usually it's not worth the gold cost, so we avoid those in general. But this is the main way to get bookmarks, and a lot of y'all have done this. Let me know how many times, guys, you guys have shop refreshed in the past to either get your 605 bookmarks for a pity, or trying to get those last bit of mystics. Maybe you need 1,000, 2,000 to get that mystic pity, or to ensure, or just give you extra chances of getting that most wanted Moonlight 5-star. But that means a lot of y'all have shop refreshed, and I've shop refreshed thousands and thousands of times at this point, guys, and it has just become so mind-numbingly boring. I dread the fact that if I ever need to get, you know, multiple units of one of my favorite units coming out, and I need hundreds of bookmarks, if not thousands, it's going to be just hours and hours of mindless clicking. And I know you could just throw up YouTube video, Twitch stream, or Netflix on the side, but then you're at risk of missing out on bookmarks if you go too fast, if you miss something, because you get in the habit. I know you can add like hotkey functions in the emulator to maybe alleviate some of that, you know, clicking here and there and moving the mouse around, but overall it is still an annoying thing that I feel like a lot of other gacha games have either solved through the use of, you know, only limited pack or limited bookmark purchases, things like that. And so here's my suggestion to start. I think the number 1 and the most likely for Smilegate to add, this isn't really adding anything new. It's just a interface quality of life change, guys, and that would be removing this bottom merchant item. So let's count how many we have here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 total, right, shop items at a time. Just make that 5, and number 5 gets cut off a little bit, but we can still see it. If they want to clean it up and make sure all 5, you know, maybe just shrink this so it fits evenly on the page, just have 5 selections, and that way we can see the entire shop selection without having to scroll down like that every single time. Imagine, guys, how much time you would save over 1,000 shop refreshes, if not more, you know, because we're gonna have this hopefully until the end of the game if they allow us to add, you know, added quality of life for this. How much time that would save us not having to scroll down like that every single time, as well as, you know, we'll miss out on less bookmarks because having to move and look around every time you have to scroll up like that would just be such a huge time saver. So that'd be my number 1 most wanted feature, or sorry, excuse me, number 2, but my most wanted feature for the shop refresh. And then let's go ahead and talk about the next thing that they might add. I'm not sure, guys. Let me know if another gacha game does this, but I would imagine if they could just allow for automated, or let's just say multiple shop refreshes, and then we just check a box that says buy all bookmarks. So for example, if I wanted to just spend 100 refreshes at once, I would spend 300 sky stones. I could just auto check a box that says purchase all bookmarks. You know, of course you have to have the gold, but it'll just buy all the bookmarks that would have popped up in 100 refreshes anyways. And I think that would also just be a nice feature. Some of y'all may not want that, as maybe it feels a little bit cheap. We don't want too much automation in our games, although it is a gacha game, guys, and we have a lot of auto features, but I could see maybe some of y'all not wanting that. So let me know your thoughts on the shop refresh. If you haven't already, no matter if you're free to play or whaling, like I said, you should be shop refreshing, as it's the most efficient way to get bookmarks, and you know, as long as you have the gold. So let me know your thoughts, please. I want this feature so bad because I'm just so sick of shop refreshing at this point of the game. All right, guys, let's go ahead and lead into my #1 most wanted feature. And don't forget, let me know what you guys think about my other 2 suggestions for most wanted features in Epic 7. Let me know what you think about them in particular, and also give me some of your own. You don't have to give me 3. Just let me know some cool features you might want added, maybe some from other games that you've seen and are done really well that would just enhance the, the quality of life for us, or just new features that you think the community would like. And last but not least, make sure, guys, that it's something more realistic that you think Smilegate, or you could see Smilegate actually adding, and not just something like more gold, more molas, more Moonlight 5 selectors. Okay, boys? Now, speaking of games that have done other features really well that we would want to see in Epic 7, boys, my #1 most wanted feature has to do with hunts. In particular, background or minimized farming. I've seen Summoner's War do this, although I haven't played Summoner's War myself. I heard they have this feature. I've seen Dislight do this. I know other games have done this as well. And or potentially, this is a slash and or skip tickets. Now that one might be a little bit more controversial. I'm also torn on skip tickets, but just some kind of hunt quality of life to make this a lot better. At least remember, guys, we're already almost year 4 into the game. It's time to spice things up, try out new features that other games have done well. So let's first, before we talk about skip tickets, let's just talk about background or minimized farming. Now I heard Summoner's War has it, but I believe it works like this, and it does work like this in Dislight. You load up a auto right here, guys. I'm loading up a auto 30 of, oops, guys, I went into Wyvern when I should be in Banshee. Give me a second to load that up. But you load up a, just X amount of runs. For me, it's gonna be 30 with my new pet. And I get to minimize this and have it just run in the background seamlessly. What that means is I'll be doing my hunts. My hunt team is running in the background, and then I can just do whatever I want. I can manage my gear, my inventory. I could jump into story mode. I could jump into arena, play a lobby. The sky's the limit on what Smilegate wants to add for that feature, but the main core is adding hunt in the background, so that we can do other stuff in the game. That's going to be so huge for newer players that are just loving the game, that are trying out all sorts of stuff, that also want to get some farming done, and players that just play a crap ton. So guys, we all know during the hunt events, right? We got to make sure we maximize our gold gain. Imagine that during the hunt event, you can still be doing all the other stuff you like to do in E7, right? Do your weekly chores, your daily chores, even guild wars, whatever it might be. Just allow us to minimize the game as other games have done this, or let us minimize the hunts, and other games have done this, and it's just such a nice feature that I think would improve the game state of Epic 7 so much. And if y'all haven't heard of that, just check out a few of those other games I mentioned. Being able to minimize this mode and play the game would just, I think it would feel so good. Let me know what you think about the minimized or background feature of hunt farming, and we could probably even add that to what, Spirit Altar, boys? Adventure mode, just whatever we're autoing, allow us to minimize that and allow us to do other stuff in the game as well. Other games have shown they can do it seamlessly. It's out there. Epic 7 can definitely do it as well. Now, this is one, guys. Let's go ahead and end with the last topic, and that is skip tickets. I just added this in there because when I brought up this topic, I actually saw a lot of people in my Twitch community, surprisingly, might be okay with it. Now, my reason for not wanting skip tickets, or at least starting off with just having background hunt farming, because if you think about it, skip tickets would effectively be the same thing, potentially even better. We save time and we get to do other stuff in the game besides just, PvE or hunt farming. By using skip tickets, we could just load up, however many skip tickets Smilegate wants to implement. Let's say they allowed infinite amount. You could just dump all your energy at once and get all the hunt farming done like that. Now, the bad thing about that is it does kind of, I think, take away from the spirit of the game, as corny as that sounds. Being able to make Epic 7, playing it, optimizing the teams, actually watching them. I do feel like in some of the games I've played in the past, like Hero Kantara, when you have skip tickets, I don't know if King's Raid had that too, guys. Let me know what game you've played that has skip tickets. I do feel like that kind of cheapens the game, as silly as that sounds. Maybe that's just me personally, but I'm not the biggest fan of skip tickets until I played Counterside, where they have skip tickets for certain aspects of the game. Like certain modes that you just have to do on the daily, they have this new skip function that actually, even though I was opposed to at first, saved us so much time. So maybe not for hunts, but let's go ahead and allow skip tickets for certain PvE modes that we just do on the regular. Maybe, your 5 adventure modes runs you have to do daily for your daily quests. Maybe we can just skip ticket those, for example. Whatever it might be, I think it is an option that we could potentially explore, but I'm not quite ready there yet to allow skip tickets in hunts, at least not in mass, like an infinite amount where you just dump tens of thousands of energy at once in the blink of an eye. Instead, I think we should start with the background or minimize farming and just let us do other features in the game while we're doing that said farming in the background. I think that would be so cool. And like I keep mentioning, other games have already been doing it. We can make it happen, guys. All right. So those are my 3 most wanted features that I think we could potentially see sooner than later. Definitely Smilegate could add those without, you know, cutting too much into their profits or whatever it might be. Technical difficulties. I believe they could definitely add those if enough of us wanted it. So let me know what you guys think. And as always, thank you so much for watching. I'll catch you guys in the next one. Peace out, everybody.